Like, the jail, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. We have somebody from the county attorney's office on?
Yes, Your Honor. Morgan Mahalik for the state.
Thank you. And from Public Defense Services?
Good evening, Your Honor.
All right. And I believe we do have a couple of, do we have the interpreter on? I don't think we have going to need your services just yet, but just want to make.
Your Honor, I spoke to, this is the jail speaking, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I spoke to Fernando Gamon, and he speaks fluent English, and he would not like a translator at this time.
Okay. I'm gonna just ask that the interpreter hang on for just a few minutes. I'd rather have you not need you than need you not have you. So if you can bear with us for just a few minutes, hopefully we'll try to get through and get Mr. Gamon. And if he agrees that he doesn't need an interpreter and he hasn't had any trouble understanding me, then we can just go ahead and forego you being present. But I'd rather err on the safe side.
Of course, I will remain on the line, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. All right. Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Mark Fonseca, 07-17-2007.
All right, for a second. This is time set for your initial appearance. You're here based on a warrant that was issued for your arrest involving several felony charges related to aggravated assault, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, dangerous instrument, burglary in the third degree, unlawful possession of means of transportation, theft of means of transportation, aggravated robbery, and armed robbery with a deadly weapon. You do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney. And excuse me 1 second. In your instance, I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left, or was seated to your left, hopefully will be returning, is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. So if you have any questions, please refer your questions to your attorney before saying anything out loud. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Reviewed the pretrial services report, noting that there does appear to be a juvenile parole hold on the defendant, but that he was otherwise rated as a 2 and a 1 respectively on the NCA FTA scales. Also reviewed the county attorney's office recommendation and obviously reviewed the warrant. I think the bond requested amount was $150,000 by the county attorney's office, and the requested bond amount on the warrant signed by Judge Monroe was $15,000. Anything you want to add from the state?
Nothing in addition to the form we submitted, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Right. Spence.
If I can just have 1 minute to speak with my client, Judge.
Sure, go ahead.
Judge, Mr. Fonseca would like to be released back to the custody of juvenile corrections. I'm not entirely sure how that works. I don't practice in the juvenile courts. If you're not inclined to release him, Judge, will you just ask for a nominal bond, seeing that the juvenile parole will keep him in custody? He was transferred from juvenile corrections today to jail to start this process.
Yeah, so with the hold, I don't imagine that he'll actually be released, but I will honor the bond amount requested by Judge Monroe at $15,000 cash secured, and set the matter for an arraignment in this case on May 30th at 1:30 in the afternoon. So Mr. Fonseca, you're not going to be released because of several matters, but you will be seen by another judge on the 30th for an arraignment. At that time, your conditions of release could change. So please keep in touch with your attorneys and you'll be seen for your arraignment on the 30th. And that's all I have for you. Thank you. Get better at it.
Hey, Your Honor, this is the
Yeah.
jail speaking.
Okay, that's fine, I'll go back.
I just wanted to confirm the bond was $15,000, 1.5.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
January pleasure on the month. 03/11/2000.
All right. So good evening. This is time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here on a single charge of promoting prison contraband, alleged to have occurred on May 24th, or I'm sorry, earlier today. You do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney. And in your case, I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please raise them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Review the pretrial services report, rating Mr. Aleman as a 2 and 2 respectively. Also noting that there was no criminal history and that there was ties to community. County Attorney's Office recommendation was $500 cash bond. Anything to add from the state?
Nothing additional, Your Honor.
Okay. Defense.
Yeah. Judge, we're asking for a reasonable bond as well, seeing that he's another held on other charges. So $500, Judge, that's what we'd be asking for as well.
Then I'll impose a $500 cash bond.
Yes, you good. Yeah, perfect. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And further order that if he is, if Mr. Aleman is able to post the bond and otherwise released, that he'll be under the supervision of pretrial services and should submit to any.
What is that? Oh, okay. Understood. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I'll submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. Also going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drug.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to set this for a preliminary hearing on June 13th at 1:30 in the afternoon here at the Justice Court. So Mr. Aleman, if you are released, please make sure and keep in contact with your attorneys. Make sure and be at any hearings in this case. Otherwise, they can proceed in your absence. and or another warrant condition for your arrest, and you can end up right back in custody. You understand?
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you. You're excused. All right, thank you. Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Jennifer Eugenia Haig, 42965.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Haig. This is the time step for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening. Sorry, based on 3 charges alleged to have occurred earlier today involving possession of drug paraphernalia, criminal trespass in the 2nd degree, and shoplifting. Actually, 1 second. Right, you have a right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. In your matter, I'm going to release you if you can promise me you will appear at a hearing in your case on May 27th. Or I'm sorry, on June 3rd. My apologies. At 8:30 in the morning. Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
Then I'm gonna release you and schedule your hearing for the 3rd at 8:30 in front of Judge Cornejo at the Pima County Justice Court in downtown Tucson. I'm going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, have any contact with the alleged victim in this case, and that you not return to the incident location. So you're going to be released. Please make sure and attend your hearing on the 3rd. Otherwise, a warrant could issue for your arrest and you can end up right back in custody. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's all I have for you.
Go ahead and see Heck. Hines, back down to the lower level. Hines, come see right here.
Right here.
Yes, ma'am.
One second. All right, good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth, please?
Hi, it's 11/22/91.
All right, sounds good. Evening. This is the time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here tonight based on 2 charges alleged to have occurred earlier today involving domestic violence assault and endangerment. Just remind you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. I understand that there is one of the alleged victims in this case is on the phone. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay. All right, ma'am. I'm not sure. I believe the clerk explained the nature of these proceedings. What I'm going to ask you at this point is just to speak to whatever, what if any conditions of release you think are that you would want to have it imposed, and whether or not you object to Ms. Hines' release from custody tonight. So if you have anything you'd like to say, please feel free to say it.
Objections for her leave, but like if she wanted to pick up her things, that she be escorted by the police or whoever does that.
And can I just confirm with you, ma'am, did Ms. Hines currently reside with you?
No, she does not.
Okay, but there are personal belongings of yours or of hers at your residence?
Yes, sir. She was here visiting because I recently had a baby, and so all of her things that she traveled with are here.
Okay, understood. All right. All right, Ms. Hines. I'm going to release you on promise that you will appear at a hearing on June 3rd at 10:30 in the morning in front of Judge Erica Cornejo at the Pima County Justice Court. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's going to be the date of your arraignment at June 3rd at 10:30 in the morning. It'll be in front of Judge Cornejo here at the Justice Court. I'm again ordering that you be released on promise that you will appear at that hearing, as well as on promise that you will not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, and that you have no contact of any kind with the alleged victim, to include going to their place of work or residence. I will allow you to return to the victim's residence with a police escort. What that means is, if you want to collect your personal belongings, you need to contact local law enforcement and call 311. Arrange for a police escort to be at the residence prior to you arriving and with you the entire time you are there. This is a one-time arrangement. If you want to collect your belongings, you'll contact police, have them escort you to pick up those belongings, and then you have to leave. Otherwise, you are to have absolutely no contact with the alleged victim in this case. Do you understand? Okay. With that, that's all I have for you. Again, you're going to be released later this evening. And please make sure and attend your hearing on the 3rd. Otherwise, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Thank you very much. You're excused.
Okay, court paperwork. Let's have a seat back in the lower level where you were sitting initially. Kaufman,
And ma'am, you can, oh, if she already.
Hines. Hines is still present, Your Honor.
Oh, no, I was talking to the alleged victim of the case. I was going to excuse her, but seems like she excused herself. Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Debbie Joan Huffman, 12458.
All right, Hoffman. Good evening. This is the time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here tonight based on a warrant that was issued for your arrest by Judge James Hazel of the Oro Valley Municipal Courts back on May 8th of this year. Reference a charge of DUI that occurred last year. Again, you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. In this matter, the bond amount that was requested by Judge Hazel was, sorry, I just want to make sure it's $5,000 cash. So I'm going to honor his request and impose a bond of $5,000 cash secured. I'm sorry, cash. And I'm going to set you for a video review hearing on May 28th at 10:30 in the morning. Going to be a video review hearing, so you'll be seeing Judge Hazel in the same way you're seeing me right now. I'm also going to appoint Mr. Richard Glenn to represent you. So you may will hopefully be reaching out to you prior to your hearing, but otherwise you'll be seen on the 28th at 10:30 via video in front of Judge Hazel. And with that, that's all I have for you, ma'am. You're excused. Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Adon Martinez, 2004, 22. Oh shit. No, August 21st, 2004.
All right. Martinez, good evening. At the time set for your initial appearance, you're here based on a warrant that was issued for your arrest by Judge Alexander Ball of the Pima County Justice Court related to a DUI charge from March of 2023. Remind you, do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be held against you. In this, hang on one second. All right. All right. I'm going to release you on this warrant, provided you will promise to appear at the Pima County Justice Court on June 6th at 10 a.m. Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Then I will release you and promise you will appear. I'm going to order that you not possess, consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, not drive without a valid license, and I'm going to reappoint Mr. Adam Waters to represent you in this matter. That's all I have for you. Please make sure and attend your hearings. Otherwise, another warrant could issue for your arrest, and you're going to right back in custody and be held at that point. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Otis?
Good evening. Please tell me your full name and date of birth.
George and Leanne Otis, 12/25/73.
All right, Mr. Otis, good evening. This is the time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening because you have two warrants for your arrest that were issued by Judge Vince Roberts on November 10th, I'm sorry, November 20th, 2024. These relate to charges of domestic violence assault. Remind you, sir, you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. Just looking at the paperwork, it didn't appear that, yeah. Mr. Otis, on both of these cases, I'm going to release you on promise that you will appear on June 2nd at 11 a.m. in front of Judge Robert Foreman at the at Pima County Justice Court. Can you do that for me, sir?
Yes, I can.
All right. Then again, I'm going to release you on both cases. Order or schedule a hearing for you on the 2nd at 11 a.m. I'm going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, that you commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons, and that you have no contact of any kind with the alleged victim or victims, to include going to their place of work or residence.
Yep.
And that's all I have for you, sir. You're excused.
Thank you.
Actually,
Hello, Your Honor. I'm not even sure why I'm here. The sheriff's picked me up from my house.
Hang on.
I didn't do anything wrong. I was just,
Hang on. It's okay.
I just want to go back home, feed my dog.
Hang on, sir. I just want to take a look at your paperwork so I understand what's going on. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Cody Perkins, 2/18/1986. I honestly don't know why I'm here, Your Honor. I mean, I didn't,
Well, I'm gonna explain it to you. You're here because of a charge of DUI alleged to have occurred earlier today. Uh,
but I was home. I don't know how they could give me a DUI when I was at home.
well, according to the probable cause statement, they did allegedly encounter you at an address. We'll keep that because if that's your home address, I don't want to put that out in the public record. But nevertheless, you have been charged by the Pima County Sheriff's Department for DUI. You do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. So I suggest you just remain quiet for now. I am
That's
going to,
ridiculous, Your Honor. I was at home.
Sure.
Taking a shot.
please remain silent for now.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay. In your case, I am going to release you this evening on promise that you will appear in arraignment on June 3rd, 2025 at 8:30 in the morning in front of Judge Erica Cornejo. Can you do that?
I can do that. Yes, sir.
Then again, you're going to be released. You'll be allowed to return home, provided that you
Okay.
do appear at that hearing on June 3rd.
Yes, I will be there, Your Honor.
All right. As a condition of your release, I'm going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs or drive without a valid license.
Okay. I have a driver's license.
Okay, so make sure that it remains valid and do not drive or possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. That's all I have for you, sir. You're going to be excused and you'll learn more about the charges, the evidence, and the case as a whole on the 3rd, provided, of course,
Okay.
again, you do show up, okay?
And Your Honor, can I ask you something? I didn't get any paperwork about the DUI or anything like that. Like, I don't even know what until you told me I was being charged with DUI. I don't have any kind of paperwork or anything from yesterday or today of these charges. I don't have anything.
And on the 3rd, you're going to be provided with all the documentation. You're going to be formally informed of the charges against you at your arraignment. That's what that hearing is for, to provide you with formal notice of the charges pending against you. So please make sure and be at your hearing on the 3rd. Otherwise, you may not get that information, and also a warrant could issue for your arrest, and you can end up right back in custody. Do you understand?
I understand. And so the address and everything from today will be on the paperwork prior to the 3rd, to June 3rd? Like,
Yes, you'll receive all
is
your
that what-
paperwork at your arraignment.
okay. Can I see the paperwork now of
Yeah.
what I'm being charged?
You can see it later, sir. You want to talk to the corrections officers. We have to move along, sir, so you're excused. Thank you. Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Aspen Nicole Wolf, 6/17/1991.
Ms. Wolf, good evening. This time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here tonight on a couple of different matters. We'll deal with the first, which is a warrant that was issued for your arrest by Judge Robert Foreman of the Pima County Justice Court. And this was issued on May 7th, relating to charges of possession of drug paraphernalia, refusing to provide truthful name when detained, and failing to appear. Oh, I'm sorry, and shoplifting. You do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. On that matter, the warrant, I'm going to release you on promise that you will appear at a case management conference in front of Judge Foreman on the 2nd at 11 a.m. Can you do that?
Sorry, what day?
On June 2nd at 11 a.m.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then I will release you. I will also order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, have any contact with any alleged victim, including going to the incident location. The second matter I have for you relates to a Tucson City Court case where you failed to appear and a warrant was issued for your arrest. And this was issued on May 6th, so one day prior to the other one. On this matter, actually, let's take one final look. I'll likewise release you and set a hearing for you on July 1st at 9 a.m. in front of Judge Sarah Mayhew at the Tucson City Court. I'm gonna likewise order that you possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs or return to the incident location. All right. Ms. Wolf, you have a couple of hearings coming up. Please make sure and attend those. Otherwise, you're gonna end up right back in jail, and you don't want that to happen, okay?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Excused.
Back down there, lower level, man. Bustamante?
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Good evening. My name is Brandon Lopez Bustamante, birthday March 7, 2000.
All right. Ms. Lopez Bustamante, good evening. This is the time set for your initial appearance. You're here because you were charged with two offenses allegedly occurring earlier today. One is domestic violence, criminal damage. The other is domestic violence assault. Remind you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You have the right to an attorney, which you may obtain at your own expense, or one may be appointed to you by the court, depending on circumstance. In this matter, I'm going to release you on promise that you will appear at a pretrial conference on July 3rd at 9 a.m. in front of Judge Cranshaw at the Tucson City Court. Can you do that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. In reviewing the pretrial services report, I noted that the alleged victim in this case did not object to having contact with you again, and invited further contact with you, and doesn't object to your release. So I'm not going to order that you have no contact with the alleged victim, but I am going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and that you commit no acts of domestic violence.
Of course.
All right. I'll also enter pleas of not guilty as to these charges, and just want to remind you that if you fail to attend any hearing in this case, it may proceed in your absence, including a trial. If a trial proceeds in your absence and you're unable to attend, you may lose the ability to present a defense in your case or challenge the state's evidence. And while the burden is on the state to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, if you are found guilty and are unable to be sentenced within 90 days, you may lose the right to appeal any conviction. You understand all that?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Then you're going to be released. Please make sure and attend your hearings on the 3rd. All right?
Of course. Thank you, Judge.
Garcia?
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Yeah, Luis Garcia, March 25th, 1985.
Should I see you? Good evening. This is the time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening on 3 charges of failing to comply with the court order, domestic violence, interfering with the judicial proceeding. You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, which you may obtain at your own expense or may be appointed to you, depending on the circumstances in your case. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty on your behalf as to all of these charges and set the matter for an arraignment on July 1st at 1:30 in the afternoon in front of Judge Wendy Millian at the Tucson City Court. Provided, of course, that you will promise me you will abide by the following conditions. One, that you will attend that hearing on the 1st. Second, that you will not commit any acts of domestic violence, possess any alcohol or illegal drugs, and that you will have absolutely no contact of any kind with the alleged victim in this case, to include going to a place of work or residence. Can you promise me? Can you
Yes,
do all
sir.
that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm also going to consolidate this with another matter pending at the Justice Court. So the hearing that you were otherwise going to have in that case will be set for July 1st.
It'll be together then, correct?
Yeah, so they're going to consolidate everything together so you don't have to make multiple trips. Otherwise, that is all I have for you. Oh, sorry, just as a final reminder, in this case, like in the other one, you have a right to attend all hearings, and you have a right to a trial if you wish. However, if you fail to attend any hearings, including a trial, they may go forward in your absence, and you may be found guilty without the opportunity to present a defense in your case. And even though the burden is on the state to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, if you forfeit the ability to present a defense and are unable to be sentenced within 90 days of having been found guilty at such a trial, you may lose the right to appeal. So very important that you attend all your hearings, including any trial that may go forward. You understand all that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. And that's all I have for you. You're excused.
Thank you.
Yeah, I apologize again. That was, Mr. Garcia was released.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
December November 6, 1997.
Mr. Holt, good evening. This time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen on, yeah, well, actually, let's take a look. Several cases. Actually, one. Four cases, all out of the Tucson City Court, related to criminal trespass, possession of drug paraphernalia, shoplifting. In at least two of the cases, a warrant is issued for your arrest. I'm sorry, three of the cases. And of course, the new charges pending involve criminal trespass in the third degree and possession of drug paraphernalia, allegedly occurring earlier today. You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, which you may procure at your own expense, or one may be appointed to you by the court, depending on circumstance. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty on the new charges and set the matter for a pretrial hearing. On June 2nd, 2025 at 1:45 in the afternoon. I am going to honor the bond amounts in the warrants collectively and impose a bond of $250 cash. And again, set the matter for a video review hearing on June 2nd in front of Judge Blue at 1:45 in the afternoon. If you do post the bond, I'm going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, that you have no contact of any kind with the any of alleged victims, to include going to the incident locations. I'll remind you, you do have a right to attend all hearings and have a trial where you are presumed innocent. The burden of proving you guilty is on the state. However, if you fail to attend any of those hearings, including the trial, they may proceed in your absence, and you may be found guilty without the opportunity to defend yourself. Additionally, if you're unable to be sentenced within 90 days of such a trial because of your absence, or your failure to appear, rather, you may lose the right to appeal that conviction. Do you understand all that?
Yes.
All right. And then that's all I have for you, sir. You're excused.
Marquez.
Marquez. Marquez. You're next.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Dr. Ryan Marquez.
Your date of birth?
1982.
All right. Marquez, good evening. This time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here on 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Yeah, I believe, I think the clerk correct me. 17 felony warrants, including a new charge of criminal trespass in the third degree and possession of drug paraphernalia. Mind you, do you have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also at your own expense, or one may be appointed to you by the court. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty on the new charges and set your matter for a video review hearing on June 2nd at 1:45 in the afternoon in front of Judge Blue. I am going to hold you on a $1,000 cash bond and appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. If you're able to post the bond, I'm going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. They do not have any contact with any alleged victims in this case, including going to any incident locations. Reminder, you do have a right to attend all hearings and have demand a trial in front of a judge where you are presumed innocent, and the burden of proving you guilty is on the state, and that burden is to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. However, if you fail to attend any hearings, including that trial, they may go forward in your absence, and you may be found guilty without the opportunity to present a defense in your case. And if you are unable to be sentenced within 90 days of your failure to appear, you may lose your ability to appeal that conviction. With that, sir, that's all I have for you. You're excused. Thank you.
Come on, Marquez. Marquez, let's go.
Look,
Wake up.
yeah, all right.
Get up.
What do you say?
Get up. All right.
Yeah, I just forgot with the last one. Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Jose Manuel Parada, 10/6/1995.
All right, Ms. Parada, good evening. This time set for your initial appearance. You are being seen here this evening on charges of domestic violence assault and domestic violence disorderly conduct. Reminder, you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, which you may procure at your own expense, or one may be appointed to you based on your circumstances. I'm never pleased I'm not guilty on your behalf in this case, and set the matter for hearing in front of Judge Wendy Million on July 1st, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. Provided that you will promise, sir, that you will appear at that hearing and that you will obey the following conditions. First, that you will possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Second, that you will commit no acts of domestic violence. That you will surrender and possess no firearms or weapons. And that you will have absolutely no contact with the alleged victim, to include going to their place of work or residence. Can you promise you'll do that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Then I will release you on that promise. Set the matter for the hearing on the 1st of July. And just to inform you, sir, you do have the right to attend that hearing and all subsequent hearings. And you do have the right to demand a trial where you are presumed innocent, and the burden of proving you guilty is on the state, and that burden is to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. However, if you fail to appear at any hearing, including a trial, it may go forward in your absence, and you may lose the ability to defend yourself. And subsequently, if you're unable to be sentenced within 90 days of a conviction because of your absence, you may lose the ability to appeal that conviction. Do you understand all that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Then I'm going to release you later this evening. Please obey all those conditions that I laid out, and please attend your hearing on the 1st. Otherwise, it could go forward, like I said, or a warrant could issue for your arrest.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's all I have for you. Excused.
Thank you.
Have a seat back down in the lower row. Bryce. Is right, so status. Okay, I'm cool. He goes down next.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Yes, sir. It's Christopher John Rice, May 18th, 1995.
Good evening. It's time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here based on a warrant that was issued by Judge Trujillo of the Tucson City Court related to charges of possession of prescription drug and possession of drug paraphernalia. Reminder, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be held against you. I am going to release you on this matter, provided that you promise that you will appear at a hearing on July 1st at 9 a.m. in courtroom 7. Can you promise you'll do that, sir?
Yes, sir. Do I get a moment to speak to you, Judge? I know it's, it goes against me in court, whatever, but it ain't nothing crazy. But when they gave me that ticket, it's not, when they gave me the ticket, I went to the court and I went and checked on all the screens, the clerks, different clerks and everything, and they had nothing there of my stuff. And I guess at my old address, a letter came in saying that they rescheduled it. So that's why so yes, sir. I will take care of that matter.
Well, I'm telling you right now, your hearing is going to be the 1st of July at 1 July at 9 a.m. in courtroom 7. And you're going to receive the paperwork from this. So please, regardless of what you do, don't get in the mail. Be at the courthouse on the 1st. Otherwise, a warrant could issue for your arrest. You're going to end up right back in custody. You understand?
No, yeah, for sure.
Right. Then that's all I have for you, sir. You're excused. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Bryce.
Give me a second.
Oh, you're good.
Just one moment.
Okay. Listen, just talking, I can hear him.
All right. All right. Sir, can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Dylan Drudge, 2/24, 1991.
And do we have the public defense services?
Your Honor, I'll see if I can find him.
Yeah, thank you. Judge, we're going to hold off for just a second. I want to make sure that there's an attorney available to speak with you. So just bear with us for a moment. Okay. Okay, so I'm like, we'll continue in the morning. All right. Mr. Judge, good evening.
Yes, sir.
You're being seen here this evening based on charges related to domestic violence endangerment, threats and intimidation, and criminal damage. You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please address them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. You understand? I'm sorry, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I reviewed pretrial services report and didn't note any holds. There was a notation of a warrant I want to see if there is. Doesn't appear to be in the file. I do note that the alleged victim was contacted, indicated that defendant is not welcome to return to the home, does not want any further contact, but doesn't object to release. Also note that there was no felony criminal history or misdemeanor criminal history, and this judge was rated a 1 and a 1 respectively on the NCAA FTA scales. County Attorney's Office recommendations, $7,500 plus pretrial services. Anything to add from the state?
Your Honor, I just want to point out that obviously he was being transported to the CRC during this incident. So that's the only thing I would like the court to take notice of.
Okay. On defense?
Yeah, Judge, I'm going to ask for Mr. Judge's release to pretrial services this evening. Weighing towards his release, as you noted, no criminal history, felony or misdemeanor. He's a lifelong Tucsonan with full-time employment, so he has no incentive to run, and we'll know where he's at. 1 and 1 on both scales. This really seems to me, looking at Mr. Judge's history and looking at the circumstances, like a mental health crisis going on. This may have awoken him. I would ask that we release him directly to the CRC. They'll put a hold on him at least for some time there, but he can get that help that, he was on his way to receive. If you're not inclined to release him, Judge, I would just ask for a much more reasonable bond than $7,500, given those factors, and, just based upon his employment. For $1,100 would be a more reasonable bond. But I do think the factors in this case weigh towards pretrial service at least.
All right, I am inclined based on the circumstances to release Mr. Judge to pretrial services, but that he may need intervention by, and actually give me 1 second, I want to take a look at something. And I believe, yes, pretrial services noted they did conduct a mental health substance abuse screening, and they were notified of the mental health concerns and are going to determine whether or not a further referrals or actions are necessary. So I'll leave that to their professional judgment. However, I'm going to order that Mr. Drudge submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. I'm also going to order that he not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, that he surrender any firearms and possess no firearms or weapons. I'm also going to order that he not commit any act of domestic violence, and though the victim did not object to release, I am in order that Mr. Judge not have any contact of any kind with the alleged victim to include going to their place of work or residence. I'll set this matter for a preliminary hearing on June 13th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And that's all I have for you. So, Mr. Judge, you're going to be released to pretrial services. Please make sure and maintain contact with them and your attorney and attend all hearings in this case. Otherwise, they could proceed in your absence and or a warrant could issue for your arrest. You understand all that?
Yes, sir.
Thanks, sir. That's all I have for you.
So give them a call once they're released. They're probably going to petition you, so you can take that for you get a chance to start saying. That's the law, man. I'm ready to do it. Probably in a couple of hours after court, they'll process you out. It usually takes I probably think about 11 p.m., but the emergency petition might take a little bit. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Best of luck, man. Thank you.
I believe the next matters, the one notation Spanish, and I believe both are misdemeanors. But I'm going to continue both of these based on notice that my clerk just received that there may be some additional matters that need to be considered before determining release conditions. Mr. Is it Gamon? Yes, sir.
Say it again.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Mr. Gamon, what's your full name and date of birth?
Fernando Alberto Gammon, date of birth 06/24/1992.
Sir, there was indication that you may need the services of an interpreter. Do you feel you need an interpreter, or are you comfortable proceeding on without one?
I would like to proceed with that one, Your Honor.
Okay, then I'll excuse the Spanish interpreter. Thank you very much for bearing with us tonight.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Have a good night.
You too. All right, Mr. Gamon, I was just notified a couple of minutes ago that there's some additional matters that may need to be considered before determining release conditions for you. So unfortunately, I don't have that information in front of me, so I can't review it. So I can't really make an informed decision about your conditions of release. So in your matters or the matters that are pending before me, I'm just going to continue them into the morning. So you'll be seen by the judge tomorrow morning at I believe 9 a.m. And hopefully at that point they will have the full picture, and so they can determine what, if any, conditions to impose on you. Okay, so do apologize for that, but don't want to shortchange the process or the consideration on what conditions that really should be imposed. All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're excused. There you go.
Hey, Braga.
All right. All right. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Gabriel Anthony Aguilar, November 11th, 1995.
Should I go into the evening? This time, set your initial appearance. You're being seen here tonight based on 3 charges of possession of a narcotic drug, possession of drug paraphernalia, and drive-by shooting. You do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm going to be appointing the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purpose of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please address them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. Do you understand?
Correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. I reviewed the interim complaint in this case as well as the pretrial services report. There was a notation of a probation violation warrant out of Pinal County with a detained without bond annotation there. And did note the felony criminal, at least 2 instances in felony criminal history. County Attorney's Office recommendation was $750,000 plus pretrial services. Anything to add from the state?
Nothing additional, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense?
We'd be asking for a nominal bond given that probation hold.
Thank you. One second. I will order a $25,000 cash secured bond, and that if Mr. Aguilar is able to post a bond, that he be released to the supervision of pretrial services. I will note the out-of-county hold on him. But again, if the defendant is released, I'll order that he submit any monitoring or treatment as ordered by pretrial services, that he surrender any firearms that he may have to law enforcement, possess no firearms or weapons, possess no alcohol or illegal drugs. And I will set this for a preliminary hearing on June 3rd at 1:30 in the afternoon. So, Mr. Aguilar, you're not going to be released this evening. Please keep in touch with your attorney and make sure that you cooperate with them pending your hearing on the 3rd. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You're excused.
Okay. Thank you. Monday evening. Sign. All right, then.
De Leon?
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Joel Jose De Leon, 0109-2001.
Mr. De Leon, the time to set for your initial appearance. Being seen here this evening based on several offenses related to drive-by shooting, aggravated assault with deadly weapon, discharge of a firearm within city limits, discharge of firearm at a residential structure, and being a prohibited possessor. To remind you, you do have a right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney. And in your matter, I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. So please direct any questions or concerns you have to your attorney before saying anything out loud. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Viewed the pretrial services reports. They did note no felony criminal history, and Mr. De Leon was a 1 and 1 respectively on the NCAA scales. County Attorney's Office recommendation was $750,000 plus pretrial services. Anything to add from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
If I could just have one moment, Judge.
Go right ahead.
So, Judge, Mr. De Leon is requesting to be released to the supervision of pretrial services. Weighing towards that, Judge, it's like you noted, no felony criminal history. He is a 1 and 1 on the NCAA and the FCA scales. He's a lifelong Tucsonan, and he does have housing with his mother, and he has employment. He is the provider for his family, so he's concerned. about them should he be in custody. If you are inclined to hold him, Judge, we would ask for a more reasonable bond than $750,000. He is indigent, so any bond is going to be excessive. We would ask for a much more reasonable $1,100 bond.
Thank you. I'm gonna impose bond of $50,000 cash and set the matter for a preliminary hearing on June 3rd at 1:30 in the afternoon. If the bond is posted, I'm gonna order that Mr. De Leon is released to the supervision of pretrial services and that he submit any monitoring or treatment as directed by them. I'm going to order that he not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, surrender any firearms he may have in his possession to law enforcement, and possess no firearms or weapons, period. I'll also order that he have no contact of any kind with the alleged victims, to include going to their place of work or residence. So, Mr. De Leon, you are not going to be released pending the posting of any bond. However, you will have your preliminary hearing on the 3rd, so please keep in touch with your attorney so that you can adequately prepare for that hearing. All right? That's all I have for you, sir. Thank you. You're excused.
Was that 1-5 or 5-0?
5-0. 5,000.
5-0.
So, yeah. After the, what? No.
Yes, you're fine. Just let me get back down there.
Benson.
Well, you were down there.
Down there.
Oh. Yeah.
So you know. Hold on.
All right. Good evening, sir. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Garrett Hansen, 8/12/806.
Chance, good evening. This time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening on charges of being a prohibited possessor, I'm sorry, having a firearm by a prohibited possessor, I should say. You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and in this case, I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purpose of this hearing, so if you have any questions or concerns, please address them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Reviewed the interim complaint as well as pretrial services, just noting that there are, I believe there's a juvenile probation matter, but no holds currently in place or petitions to revoke. And do note that there's a prior juvenile criminal history, but otherwise that Mr. Hansen was rated a 2 and a 1 respectively on the NCAA scales. Noted the county attorney's office recommendation of $25,000 cash with pretrial services. Anything after the state?
Nothing additional, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense.
Judge, I'd be asking for Garrett's release to pretrial services this evening. Weighing towards his release, Judge, he is 18 years old. If you release him, he would not only have the supervision of pretrial services, but he would have the supervision of juvenile probation, who can increase supervision to Garrett. He just graduated from Sabine Examian this week. He is, trying to do better from his past. He's been on probation for a year now without incident, and it seems to, at least without revocation incident that I have any notation of. He does have confirmed housing with his mother, who seems to have some employment ready for him in cable installation, moving forward from graduation. So I think those factors judge way towards release. If we look towards his history, with kind of a critical eye, there's property crimes in 2023 and 2024 that led him to probation. And in this case, he didn't use the weapon in any sort of violent fashion. If you are inclined to impose a bond, Judge, I would just like to ask for a more reasonable bond of $1,100, given those factors.
I'm going to release Mr. Hanson to pretrial services and order that he submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by them. Also order that he surrender any remaining firearms he may have to law enforcement immediately, and that he possess no firearms or weapons. Also order that he not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, which given the age should be easy. I will set the matter for a preliminary hearing on June 13th at 1:30 in the afternoon. So, Mr. Hanson, you are going to be released to pretrial services. So you need to make contact with pretrial services immediately upon release and stay in contact with them throughout the pendency of this case. Also keep in touch with your attorney and obviously be at any hearings that occur in this matter. Otherwise, they could go forward in your absence, or a warrant could issue for your arrest and you could end up right back in custody. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you very much. You're excused.
That's fair. No worries, man. We'll give your mom a call later.
Okay.
Are you?
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Good evening. Please tell me your full name and date of birth.
Just tell me your name.
Philip Waterside the third,
What's your date of birth?
2493.
Thank you. Mr. Manuel, it's time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening based on a warrant that was issued for your arrest out of the Pima County Superior Court by Judge Michelle Metzger on September 13th, 2024, related to a charge of burglary in the third degree. To remind you, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm going to be appointed to the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. If you have any questions or concerns, please direct them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. Do you understand?
Understand. Yes, it's understood.
Thank you. Review the pretrial services report. Just noting that there are no holds. There is a felony criminal history, including past failures to appear, and he was rated a 6 and 6 overall on the NCAA FTA scales. The County Attorney's Office recommendation of $10,000. I'm sorry. The warrant was $1,000. The County Attorney's Office recommendation is $10,000. Anything to add from the state?
Nothing additional, Your Honor.
Thank you. Vince?
I just ask that you honor the warrant amount of $1,000.
And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I will honor Judge Metzger's request and hold Mr. Manuel on a $1,000 cash bond. And that if further order that if the bond is posted, that he be released to the supervision of pretrial services and submit to any monitoring that they may direct. I'll also order that there be no contact of any kind with the any alleged victims, to include to going to the incident location. And I'll set this matter for an arraignment on May 30th at 1:30 in the afternoon at the Pima County Superior Court. The next matter for Mr. Manuel We have a Tucson City Court case, several cases actually, related to assault, disorderly conduct, domestic violence, domestic violence, assault, domestic violence, disorderly conduct, domestic violence endangerment, domestic violence, assault and domestic violence, disorderly conduct from separate cases. I am going to set this matter for a video review hearing. In front of Judge Wendy Million. On June 4th.
Two drugs,
At 1:30 in the afternoon. And I will impose the warrant amount bond of $999 as requested in that, the warrants in the cases. I'll also order that if the bond is posted, they do not commit any acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons, have any contact with the named victims, to include going to their place of work or residence. And I will appoint the Pima County, the Tucson City Public Defender's Office to represent you. So that's all I have for you, Mr. Manuel. You're excused. Thank you.
Eduard.
All right. So you can please tell me your full name and date of birth.
Eric McGuire. March 16, 1996.
All right. All right, Mr. Breyer, we've got a couple different matters for you. We'll deal with each in turn. One second. Mr. McGuire, you're being seen here on the first matter, it's a felony case related to charges of criminal damage alleged to have occurred earlier today. So in that case, you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purpose of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please address them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you. In reviewing the pretrial services report, did note there was a felony criminal history Someone recently from 2022, 2024. Mr. McGuire was rated a 6 at 6 on the NCAA FTA scales. County Attorney's Office recommendation was $7,500 and pretrial services. Anything to add? From the
No,
state?
Your Honor.
Thank you. And defense.
Judge, given his status as being on probation, we'd ask for a more reasonable bond of $1,100.
Thank you. I will impose a bond of $2,500 cash and order that if bond is posted, that he be, Mr. McGuire be released to the supervision of pretrial services, and that he further submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. I'll set this matter for a preliminary hearing on June 3rd at 1:30 in the afternoon. And further order that there be that if bond is posted and Mr. McGuire is released, that he not return to the incident location. All right, that's your felony case, Mr. McGuire. Now we deal with the misdemeanor case. In that matter, you were also charged with criminal damage, misdemeanor criminal damage, disorderly conduct, and criminal trespass. And this, in that matter, I'm going to set this for a pre-trial conference on May 27th at 1 p.m. in front of Judge Victoria Steele at the Pima County Justice Court. All right. Mr. McGuire, you're going to be held on that bond pending your hearings. One will be next week on the 27th. The other will be on June 3rd. If you do post that bond, please make sure and contact pretrial services immediately. Maintain contact with your attorneys. Otherwise, the hearings may go forward in your absence and/or a warrant could issue for your arrest, and you can end up right back in custody. That's all I have for you, sir. Thank you. You're excused.
That's all.
Antonio?
Good evening, ma'am. Can you please tell me your full name and
It's Marcelo Marie Montaño, 1885.
All right, Ms. Montaño, you're being seen here this evening based on felony charges of aggravated DUI, domestic violence endangerment, having spirituous liquor in a motor vehicle, and domestic violence disorderly conduct. You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney. In your case, I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please address them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. You understand? You understand?
Yes.
Thank you. Child Services recommendation, or their report rather. Did note there was no, there was misdemeanor criminal history, no felony criminal history. And Ms. Montaño was rated a 3 and 3 respectively on the NCFPA scales. County Attorney's Office recommendation is $20,000 bond. Anything to add from the state?
Yes, Your Honor, we would just like to highlight the fact that there are multiple prior DUI related charges and that the defendant was driving impaired, which not only is a safety risk to the community at large, but specifically to the 13-year-old minor that was in the car with her.
Right. I'm sorry, I did forget to note that pretrial services was able to contact the victim and the victim's representative. They do not wish to, I'm sorry, they do welcome further contact with the defendant and have no objection to her release, but there is also a pending charge in the Saudi Municipal Court. Defense.
Judge, Ms. Montano would like to be released to pretrial services. First, regarding her criminal history, the court correctly knows that she doesn't have any felony criminal history, nor does she have a history of failing to appear for her court dates. Her prior DUIs are 20 years old, so that is a long time ago. Those are distant in time. She is a lifelong Arizonan judge. She's not a flight risk. She has every reason to stay in the state. She also has full-time employment as a compliance officer. She has family in town, friends, and her father, but she also has money if she were to, stay at a hotel or something like that. But she does have housing away from the victim. So for those reasons, Judge, we are asking that Ms. Montano be released to pretrial services. If you're not inclined to release her to pretrial services, Judge, we would ask for a more reasonable bond of $1,100.
I am going to release Ms. Montano to pretrial services in order that she submit any monitoring or treatment as directed by them. I'm going to order that she not commit any acts of domestic violence, possess, consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, or drive without a valid license. I'm not aware of the conditions of release in the other matter that was referenced in pretrial services. But given the fact of circumstances, I am going to order that there be no contact with the alleged victims, to include going to the place of work or residence. That can certainly be modified later on if so requested. But at this point, I'm not prepared to authorize additional contact just yet. If there are personal belongings of Ms. Montano at the victim's residence, I will authorize her to go back to that residence with a police escort. So what this means, Ms. Montano, is that if you have any personal belongings you wish to collect from the victim's residence, you'll have to contact police beforehand, call 311, arrange for them to be present at the house before you arrive and with you the entire time, escorting you to get your personal belongings and then leaving. This is a one-time arrangement. Otherwise, you are not allowed to go to that residence. Do you understand that? Yes. All right. I'll set this matter for a preliminary hearing on June 13th at 1:30 in the afternoon. So, Ms. Montano, you are going to be released, but you do need to make contact with pretrial services immediately upon release and maintain contact with pretrial services and your attorneys so that you can keep up to date with the status of your case and any requests or need they may have from you. Otherwise, thank you very much. You're free. You're excused. Thank you.
Excellent.
Good evening, sir. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Stephen Michael Munger, April 3rd, 93.
All right, thank you. One sec. All right, Mr. Munger. Good evening. You're being seen here this evening on charges of unlawful possession of a dangerous drug, unlawful possession of a narcotic drug, and unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. You do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purpose of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please address them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Reviewed the interim complaint pretrial services report, which noted a probation violation warrant and that Mr. Munger is being detained without bond in that matter. Also that there was a 4 and 4 respectively on the NCFPA scales. County Attorney's Office recommendation was pretrial services. Anything to add from the state?
Your Honor, just that he's eligible for steps, but in lieu of the hold, I would request a nominal bond, $500, just to secure time credit.
Okay, and defense, I am inclined, given the hold, to impose a $500, $1,000 bond, or to at least follow the recommendation of the state, and schedule a stepped hearing, but don't know if you've had a chance to discuss that with your client.
Yeah, given the probation hold, I was just gonna ask for a nominal bond as well. Just one moment, Judge.
Problem.
Yeah, Judge, so he's in agreement. We'd just be asking for a, $100 bond, whatever the court feels comfortable imposing.
I'll follow the recommendation. I'll impose a $250 cash bond. And I'm sorry, regarding steps, did your client wish to be screened for the steps program?
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'll schedule a steps hearing for you, Mr. Munger, on June 2nd at 9 a.m. And just in case that doesn't go through for whatever reason, I'll schedule a preliminary hearing for you on June 3rd at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you are released, I'm going to order that you submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services, and that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. All right, sir. That's all I have for you.
Pastor?
Pastor, this time set for initial appearance. You're being seen here on 2 different matters. One relates to new felony charges, and the other relates to a felony warrant. Remind you, you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and in both cases, I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office I'm sorry, wait a minute. Yeah, the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. We'll deal with the new felony charges first. So these charges relate to a unlawful possession of a weapon by a prohibited possessor. Have reviewed the pretrial services report and noting that there was a misdemeanor probation, but no otherwise, no holds. There is the outstanding warrant that we'll get to in a minute, and a criminal history. 1, 2, 3. Something like the criminal history going back to 2001 to 2024, 25. Ms. Pastor was rated as 5 and a 4 respectively on the NCAA FDA scales. And the county attorney's office recommendation was $2,500 bond. Anything to add from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense on the felony charges?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Pastor is asking for his release to pretrial services today. He wants me to note that he does have a newborn infant who he is responsible for. His mother is sick, and he's concerned about her as well. She lives locally. One of the concerns was Mr. Pastor returning home. He does have housing separate from his home. That he could return to. DUI, that was dismissed and then refiled. I don't think he's necessarily trying to avoid justice on that warrant. I know we'll get to that. Sometimes people just, don't keep their mail. So he hadn't been arrested on that warrant, so that been refiled. So those lay towards his release, Judge. But if you're not inclined to release, I would just ask, given his indigency, that he be held on a more reasonable bond of $1,100.
Thank you. I am going to impose the bond. In this case, I will on the bond $2,500 cash, and order that if the bond is posted that Mr. Pastor be released to the supervision of pretrial services. I'll order that he surrender any firearms that he may have in his possession to law enforcement, and that he possess no firearms or weapons. I'll set the matter for a preliminary hearing on June 3rd. Sorry, excuse me. On June 3rd at 1:30 in the afternoon. And moving on to the warrant. I don't think there was a recommendation from the state as to the warrant, but anything to add on the second?
No.
Okay. And defense?
Judge, given that he's being held on the other matter, we just ask for a nominal bond.
Thank you. I'll honor the bond set by Judge Canaster, $500. And likewise set the matter for an arraignment on March 30th at 1:30 in the afternoon at the Superior Court. I'll order that if the bond is posted and Mr. Pastor is released, that he possess, consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. And that he not return to the incident location of where this occurred. So, Mr. Pastor, you will be seen on different days, the 30th and the 3rd respectively, for these matters. Please keep in touch with your attorneys to make sure you're adequately prepared for and present for those hearings. That's all I have for you, sir. Thank you. You're excused.
Beckham.
Yes.
Pastor. Some seat down there, sir.
All right, sir. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. Can you tell me your full name and date of birth?
It is David Aaron Peckham, 11/16/1979.
All right. Mr. Peckham, good. Even this time set for your initial appearance, you're being seen here on a felony charge of theft of means of transportation. Remind you do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. Also, the attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purpose of this hearing. So if you have any questions before saying anything out loud. In addition to the interim complaint, I reviewed the pretrial services report and note that Mr. Mr. Peckham is pending on a separate felony matter in CR 2024-4683 and CR 2025-0125. And I believe the county attorney's office is asserting right to hold Mr. Peckham no bond. Is that correct? I'm sorry.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense, anything to add?
I don't think there's much I can do there. Mr. Peckham has asked that I ask for his release, Judge, but I think you just note the objection for the record.
Okay. And I'll note that. Mr. Peckham, pursuant to Arizona law, given the nature of your case and the circumstances, and your attorney can explain this more to you, the state has the right to request that you be held without bond, and I'm going to honor that request. So I will schedule this for a no bond hearing on May 29th at 2:30 in the afternoon at the Superior Court. And I'll likewise set a preliminary hearing for June 3rd at 1:30 in the afternoon. So, Mr. Peckham, you're not going to be released. You're going to be held without bond. Please keep in touch with your attorney. And that's all I have for you, sir. You're excused. All right, good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Pablo Picasso, October 30th, 2004.
All right, good evening, Mr. Picasso. This is the time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening on a charge of unlawful discharge of a firearm. To remind you, you have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please address them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Note of the county, I'm sorry, the pretrial service reports. No, there was no felony, misdemeanor, juvenile criminal history. Mr. Picasso was rated as a 2 and a 1, respectively, on the NCAFTA scales. County Attorney's Office recommendation is $20,000 bond. Anything to add from the state?
Nothing additional, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense.
Judge, I'd be asking for his release to pretrial services. Like you noted, very low on the scales, a 2 and a 1, respectively. He is very young. He's only 20 years old with no criminal history whatsoever. Excuse me, Your Honor. He's a lifelong Tucsonan, and he has housing with his mother. It seems like he's lived there all his life. So I don't believe he's a flight risk, nor a danger to the community by his history. So for those reasons, we ask for his release.
Now we'll release Mr. Picasso to pretrial services in order that he submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. I'm also going to order that he surrender any firearms he has in his possession to law enforcement, and that he not possess any firearms or weapons. Also, that he not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. I'll set the matter for a preliminary hearing on June 13th at 1:30 in the afternoon. So, Mr. Picasso, you are going to be released, but you do need to contact pretrial services immediately upon your release and stay in touch with pretrial services as well as your attorneys to make sure that you are up to date on the status of your case and that you're present for all hearings in it. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. You're excused.
Thank you.
All right. Cool. Had a great.
Yeah. One,
All right. Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
You speak for me, so you're like, you should like tell me your name and date of birth, and then I'll speak for you. Right, so. Very sorry.
But Judge, he's verified to me that he is Manuel Reyes Rojas, and his date of birth is October 18th, 1987.
Thank you. Mr. Rojas, this time set for your initial appearance. You have a couple of matters we're going to deal with this evening. The first is a felony case.
A felony case?
Yes, alleging charges of arson of an occupied structure, domestic violence, criminal damage, and endangerment.
Okay.
You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you.
Okay.
Cool. Attorney, and I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you.
All right. Cool.
Seated to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please address them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. Do you understand?
So as this goes on, you're gonna be able to talk to you and do what you require, like payment, anything done under my name that's under public property under my house, and my mom is gone and my sister is gone and all my family has been gone for a couple like years, and they've changed their name and they live out of Fosco Yaki, and I can't see them ever again. What?
Right now, sir, I'm just telling you what your charges are.
So do I own anything? Do I own anything, Judge? You know about that?
Sir, right now, all we're talking about
Okay.
is the conditions of your release. And I'm just
Yeah.
telling you that the individual seated to your left is your attorney.
What?
So if you do have questions, address them to your attorney before saying anything out loud.
Thank you. I'm not going to show up to the cops, people come and talk, try to act like they're do something with their hands on us.
I've reviewed pretrial services report in this matter. Note that there's no criminal history. Pretrial services was not able to make contact with the alleged victims regarding conditions of release, and noting that Mr. Reyes Rojas is a 4 and a 6 respectively on the FTA scales. County Attorney's Office recommendation, $75,000 bond. Anything to add?
How much?
Yes, Your Honor, despite the fact that there's minimal to no criminal history, the fact remains that this defendant lit a fire of an occupied structure and barricaded a back door that caused $30,000 in damage that ultimately resulted in the victims having to flee out the front door.
They weren't victims, they weren't people.
All right, thank you. Defense.
I'm a systems.
Judge, so weighing
I
toward
know exactly what
release,
you're saying.
it is a lifelong
There's a lot of
component.
people here that are.
You know, he's lived in Tucson his whole life. He has no felony criminal history. If you are inclined to hold him on a bond, Judge, I would just note, you know, he is in green strips, mental health episode, and he has no felony history. So he has no employment at the moment, or at least no verified employment. So we would ask for a more reasonable bond of $1,100.
Thank you. I am going to hold, based on the fact that circumstance of the case as alleged, I am going to hold Mr. Reyes Rojas on $100,000 cash bond. I am further going to order that if the bond is posted, that he be released to the supervision of pretrial services, and that he submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. I'll further order that he not possess or consume any alcohol, illegal drugs, surrender any firearms, and possess no firearms or weapons going forward. I'll also order that he not commit any acts of domestic violence, and that he have absolutely no contact of any kind with the alleged victims, to include going to their place of work or residence. I'll set this matter for a preliminary hearing on June 3rd at 1:30 in the afternoon. And that's all I have for the felony matter. On the misdemeanor matter, Mr. Reyes Rojas, you are pending charges of criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, 2nd degree, and obstruction. A warrant was issued for your arrest by Tucson City Court Judge Jeffrey Klotz, requesting a bond amount of $250. I'm gonna honor that request and impose a bond of $250. I'm gonna schedule a video review hearing for you on June 3rd at 1:40. Actually, 1 second.
And I'm wanting that data at my phone. State language that
I'm gonna set the video review hearing at Tucson City Court for June 6th.
myself.
At 1:45 in the afternoon in front of Judge Mayhew. I'll also appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you and order that you not return to the incident location in this case. So, Mr. Reyes-Rojas, you're not going to be released this evening. You do have several hearings coming up. Please make sure and keep in touch with the Public Defender's Office, the Tucson City Public Defender's Office, and the Pima County Public Defender's Office as your case develops. That's all I have for you, sir. Thank you. You're excused.
That's what, thank you. Orange. Are you gonna call it next meeting in here?
No, someone will. It probably won't be a different attorney.
So why not?
Well, that way.
It's just for this one.
Always worked.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Richard Rodriguez, 6/12/91.
Mr. Rodriguez, good evening. This time set for your initial appearance. You're being seen here this evening based on charges of domestic violence, kidnapping, and domestic violence, aggravated assault, impeding an airway. You do have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can be held against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The attorney seated to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please address them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. I've reviewed the the pretrial services report. I'll note that there is no record of felony or misdemeanor criminal history, and that Mr. Rodriguez was rated a 2 and 2 respectively on the NCA FDA scales. And that the victim does not wish to have limited contact, but does not object to the defendant's release in custody. County Attorney's Office recommendation was $75,000 cash bond. Anything to add from the state?
Yes, Your Honor. Despite the fact that there's a limited or to no criminal history, there's a significant risk posed to victims of strangulation. There were multiple indicators of strangulation in this case, in addition to being punched in the face approximately 6 times. So I think that there's an exceedingly important risk that should be noted for the victim.
Thank you. In defense?
Judge, we would be asking for Mr. Rodriguez's release to pretrial services this evening, noting as the court notes that there is no criminal history. He's low on the NCA and the FCA scale. His plan, it should be released, is he does intend to get a hotel separate away from the victim. He does not intend to have contact with her. He has every reason in the world, Judge, to show up to court and to follow his release conditions. He's employed with 3 kids. So that really weighs towards his release. You know, he doesn't want to lose his employment. He doesn't want to lose his children. Also noted in the pretrial services, Judge, was the need for mental health evaluation, noted both by his spouse and by Mr. Rodriguez himself. So I would just ask that, pretrial services evaluate whether an emergency petition is a good idea here to give Mr. Rodriguez the help that he needs. If you are inclined to hold him on a bond, Judge, I would ask for a more reasonable bond of $1,100.
I will impose a bond of $15,000 based on the facts circumstances as alleged, and order that if, I'm sorry, it's going to be $50,000 cash or secured. I will order that if the bond is posted, that Mr. Rodriguez be released to supervision of pretrial services and submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. I'll order that he not commit any acts of domestic violence, possess no alcohol or illegal drugs, surrender any firearms he may have to law enforcement, and possess no firearms or weapons during the pendency of this case. I'll order that he have no contact of any kind with the alleged victim, to include going to their place of work or residence. I will allow him to return to the home with police escort. So what that means, Mr. Rodriguez, is that if you have any personal belongings you wish to gather from the alleged victim's residence, you can contact law enforcement at 311, arrange for an escort to be present with you while you are gathering your belongings. It's a one-time matter. The police will have to be with you in order for you to return to the home. Otherwise, you are not allowed to contact the victim. Does that, you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to set this matter for a preliminary hearing on June 3rd at 1:30. And that's all I have for you, sir. You're excused.
That's was that 50 or 15?
150, sir. 15000.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. The 15 and the 50 are hard to hear on these speakers, I think. That's happened to the jail staff a few times, but appreciate the clarification.
No problem. I'll try to speak up. It will be on, obviously, my order.
Perfect. We all have different numbers on that? Okay, it'll be anyway. It'll be.
Good evening. Can you please tell me your full name and date of birth?
Ernesto Martinez Arabia, 021189.
Mr. Martinez, it's the top step of your initial appearance. Being seen here this evening on charges of possession of a narcotic drug and possession of drug paraphernalia. Reminding you, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The gentleman sitting to your left is going to be representing you for purposes of this hearing. So if you have any questions or concerns, please address them to your attorney before saying anything out loud. You understand?
Sure.
All right. Reviewed pretrial services reports and county attorney's office recommendation for pretrial services release. Anything to add from the state?
Just that the case is steps eligible, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, pretrial service did note that. Defense, I am inclined to release your client pretrial services and schedule steps hearing if he's amenable, but I don't know if you have had an opportunity to discuss that with your client.
We talked about steps in the pit, and he's amendable to it.
Okay. And again, any objection or additional note you want to make on release to pretrial services?
We were going to ask for the same thing.
Okay. And regarding steps, is client waiving time on the preliminary?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So Sir, I'm going to release you to pretrial services and schedule 2 hearings for you. The first is going to be on June 2nd at 9 a.m. at the Superior Court, and this is the screening for the STEPS program, which may help to resolve your case in an alternative manner. Could that hearing, for whatever reason, not occur or not end favorably, I'm going to schedule a preliminary hearing for you on June 13th at 1:30 in the afternoon. So after you're released, you need to make contact with pretrial services and stay in contact with pretrial services. I'm going to order that you submit to any monitoring or treatment that they direct. I'm also going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. So, sir, you're going to be released. Please make sure and keep in contact with pretrial services and with your attorney to make sure you're up to date on the case and whatever you need to be doing to make sure it results. Understand?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, sir. You're excused.
So,
I have somewhere to stay and everything.
yeah,
I live with my mom, so I mean, but I'll take them.
treatment now, so then on the second.